Hey Terry. How you doing? You doing good?
Doing good, doing good.
Well, that's good. Did you want to go do something? Go karts maybe, or I don't know.
Mm, there's this killer open house happening around the corner. We could go steal some stuff.
Sounds like a much better idea. With one of our more quiet openings, this is Adam and Terry of the Almost Sideshow. Welcome back to where we're breaking down Breaking Bad. Breakdown of Breaking Bad. Boom. Season 4, episode 3. And yes, it is called Open House is what it's called. We are talking about the third episode of season 4 of Breaking Bad, which aired July 31st, 2011. And we pick up shortly after the events from the last episode. And I actually went back and rewatched it, episode 2, and it was a lot of fun, and it made me more excited to dive into this episode. So Terry, welcome back to another episode of the Sideshow. How are
Why,
you
thank you,
feeling?
thank you. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're getting like a slightly different vibe that's starting to develop here, and
Mhm.
it's different. The episodes are a little different as you're getting a little more into just kind of settling into what this season's going to be, the chess match that's going on, and everything's just kind of simmering right now. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah, we saw a lot of interesting things happen this episode. We saw Team Walter and Skylar uh, with car wash. We saw Bill Burr with hair. We had some
Always a
good.
frightening sight.
I was like, "Ooh, that's how long has it been since he's had hair?" Probably 2011. um, but we'll dive into Bill Burr. I don't know. He had more hair on his head than almost his Bogdan's eyebrows. It was kind of
Oh,
frightening.
now we have a good debate here.
Yeah, which had
Where
more
is
hair?
there more hair, on Bill Burr's head or on Bogdan's eyebrows? I love it. This is what you're getting from the Almost Sideshow.
Only on this Sideshow do we make these comparisons.
That's why I'm here, folks.
Unfortunately. Anyway, we're diving into this episode. Terry, let's break down that synopsis.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, Breaking Bad, season 4, episode 3. We all right? Episode 3? I got that
Yep,
right?
you got it
Yeah.
right.
Why did I think that was wrong? I don't know. Season 4, episode
Only
3
said it
is
already
entitled
twice.
Open House. All right, here's our synopsis. Walt has a black eye and a security camera following him throughout his lab. Skylar is concerned his black eye might be a sign of future danger. Walt assures her nothing is wrong, which you know he's lying about,
Through his
uh,
teeth, yeah.
through his teeth, but he's gotten a lot better at it. So after he assures her, they start discussing Bogdan and the car wash. Saul thinks it's a lost cause, but Skylar and eventually Walt feel it's now personal and they need to break Bogdan. A phony report of contaminants in their runoff water, and all of a sudden Bogdan is interested in doing business. Skylar talks the price down even further and gets a great deal. Jesse is looking for someone to keep him company, but Walt is busy and all he has is his wild party that has divulged into pure chaos in his house. Yet somehow Jesse is at peace in it? Marie has reached her wits' end and falls back on an old coping mechanism: stealing. She goes from open house to open house, making up a whole new life and finding something to steal along the way. When confronted, the police take her in, and Hank begrudgingly has to make a call to make it go away. Hank's detective friend, seeing in Marie that Hank needs some focus, decides to seek his advice on a case he's working on. Let's see what Hank has to think about Gail Bedeker's lab book.
Oh,
All right, that's it. It feels like a pretty short synopsis, but that's what's going on.
one of your shorter but concise synopsises for sure. One question I do have is, what did Hank do to have, or what did Tim need that his detective friend do or ask of Hank to have like this freebie, get out of jail free card for Marie? Like, what strings did Hank? He just called this guy and said, "Hey, pull these strings, get her out." Like, what was asked of Hank to do? That's a question. How did he have this favor in his back pocket? Because that originally that phone call would have gone to Gomi. Sorry, Steve. Yeah,
Would it
that.
though? I mean, Hank did something similar for Walt when he got pepper sprayed. He
Mhm.
didn't call Gomi. He called someone he knew in the precinct. I think it was just this is the guy who had the connection that could handle it with where she was at.
Oh, that's a good point. She did say, "Hey, where are you at?" Okay, I got a connection over there.
I got someone I can call. Yeah.
Okay, well, not as interesting rabbit trail that I thought we were going to go on. But anyway, yeah, this was a good episode. This was a good episode. Very. It was hard to kind of keep focus and notes because I'm getting more and more invested in the show as we get along, and so I had my laptop up there, was ready to type in. I've upgraded from the notepad, so I'm trying to keep notes, trying to do a little better about that. And by the end of the episode, I had one note down. So I was just kind of like just watching the episode, having to pause it a couple times because distractions with kids coming in and out. But it's very fascinating, especially the whole Marie stuff. It's like, oh man, this is season one Marie. And my wife was like, "What are you talking about?" So I had to explain season one Marie and what that was all about. And I was like, "Well, yeah, she got Skylar in trouble for stealing a tiara. She was definitely stealing, and there was some tension in their relationship. So that's probably why they went there. She had to go see a counselor, and so it's like it makes sense." And my wife's like, "Well, it makes sense. Look what Hank's doing to her." So we had a good thing about conversation about that. I felt bad for her,
Yeah.
in a sense too, because like she's crying for help, and I think a lot of our characters are feeling some kind of trauma or are trying to express themselves, and then they're getting the help that they need. Like Marie, it's also clear that Jesse is feeling some kind of way too, and he's struggling. We saw the aftermath of what happened last episode too, with him breaking down and wanting this all-out party so that he doesn't have to think and dwell on what had just happened with Gail and Victor. And now we're still seeing that trauma carry over to another episode where he's going go-karting for all hours, screaming at the top of his lungs, and then his house, you know, chaos is an understatement. It's becoming more of a drugged in a lot of ways. It's like kind of
Fight
what,
Club orgy.
yeah, club orgy. Yeah. It looks almost to the point where it could become the house that Mike found Jesse in and
I made
this
that
season
connection too.
before. And it's like that's his child at home, and he's just letting it deteriorate and deteriorate. And that mean and like ourselves, like their house has a great outside appearance, but inside it, there's a lot of dirtiness going on inside of it.
Mm.
And just like Jesse putting on a happy face at work, there's a lot of brokenness going on inside that. So it's kind of like the home that he's in. That's how he's feeling inside too, and he's screaming for help there. And everybody's kind of handling their different traumas a different way. And I'm hoping that we can finally put to bed one of the bigger turns of any character. That's Hank becoming one of the biggest douchebags of the show. Hopefully we can finally see
Yeah.
him take his first steps into Hankisms again, because I kind of missed him. He was trying to turn on the charm, but it's really hard to turn on the charm when you're like kind of a slob in your own room. And he just kind of makes a sudden appearance, but he definitely tries to turn on the charm there, which I kind of miss.
Handsome was never the hard part.
Are they rocks? No, they're minerals, but it's minerals. Okay.
All right. Was I having trouble or were you having trouble?
My internet bar hasn't gone down, but when you had said that, I don't know if what you said before, but that's why I didn't make any like reaction to it, because that was breaking up. It broke up,
Okay.
but
There now. Now I've got some internet. Yeah. All right. It'll figure itself out.
I don't have anything open on my end. I made sure to have it closed before.
I just need a new computer. I think that's what I'm getting to.
It seemed good now.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple things that you mentioned that I wanted to look at. You said that we're back to season 1 Marie.
At least with the episode.
Yeah, well, right. But I think the difference is season 1 Marie, we didn't really know anything about Marie other than she was this like prissy little thing that was obsessed with purple and was really annoying. Now it's like, okay, if this is the side of Marie that led to this, like I said in the synopsis, it's her coping mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she goes and starts a new life every time she walks into a new house. I mean, it's like she's catfishing these people in these open houses just in person, not online, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's just completely making up a new persona, a new identity, a new person so she can avoid what's going on in her real life and then takes a small token of normalcy with her. I mean, she took the picture of the old couple. It's not like she's taking stuff to take stuff. She's taking stuff because she just needs something. So yeah, that's really interesting. I like your point too that hopefully Hank's finally got the one thing that's going to snap him out of it because he can't catalog rocks forever,
Mm-hmm.
minerals. I love it how he tries not to get bitter when his buddy says it. And he's like, well, they're minerals, but
Logging,
anyways,
categorizing.
that's actually a lot of work. Okay, okay. But he's looking good. Handsome's never the hard part. So yeah, yeah. This is an episode. Like I said, it not a lot happens in this episode. It's a very characterization episode where you're kind of settling in. Um, and one of the things I noticed too is this feels like the second episode in a row where, especially after so much in season 3, you end with not something that's a huge whoa. It's a subtle, quiet end,
Yeah.
but it makes you like, wait, what's going to happen next, right? Because like the end of episode 2 was Jesse like freaking out in front of the speaker, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then and now the end of episode 3, you have just Hank picking up the lab notes from Gail,
Listening. Yeah,
and
listening to some state hearings as well.
right,
Something
right.
got
So
overturned and did not
yeah,
pass.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But you get this. Okay, it's a lot more subtle, but just as intense at the same time. Like you know everything is like right on the surface for everyone. It's everyone is just kind of at the point where they need to hold it back for a little bit. So it leads to a really interesting dynamic, especially as we move forward into the next episode of what's going to bubble over first because everyone is about to burst and so what's going to burst first and or are things going to settle down. So uh, let's get into our categories here and think about look at the rest of the episode through this lens here. Best scene. What is your best scene?
Buying the car wash, having Skylar do the negotiation. Walt's like, no, don't do that, don't do that. And then she's like, no, it's not gonna work. Well, I guess we can chalk it up for a good plan, good idea, but it's not gonna go over. We're not gonna win. And then all of a sudden,
You didn't have to insult him. I
yeah,
didn't insult him. I called him unpleasant, which he is.
I thought that was hilarious because the same thing happened earlier. She's like, I didn't say that. It's like, well, yes, you did. Or no, yes, vice the roles were switched in an earlier scene, the same kind of thing. So I thought that was great little filmmaking there, writing with that. I liked that the Skylar man has stepped into her own. I don't want to spoil what we have other awards here too, but then she has this is like her season. Like this is her time to shine right now. She is taking every opportunity to be the best version of Skylar as she can. I had to explain where the baby disappears to sometimes. So I'm like, yeah, she's at Marie's house. Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
probably at Marie's. But yeah, it's just awesome. Like Skylar is definitely stepping in her own, holding her own against it. I did call the fact that they were going to get Saul involved. I think that was kind of an obvious, thing that had to happen
Had
because
to happen.
the yeah, and I don't want to. Maybe you don't have the same exact scene as I do, but the whole going down to $800,000 that was awesome. I really liked it. And Walt wanted to pick up that phone right away, and she's like, "No, no, 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 no. We're playing hard to get. Like, no, no, we don't need. Don't be like we're waiting by bated breath. Like, oh, hey, how you doing? Yep. Oh, yeah, we're still interested. Yep. Oh, yeah, but yeah, no, I don't want it as much now. 800. Yeah, it was great. It's good
I
stuff.
love it. Yeah, I had the same scene. I remember back to when we were like in season 1 or 2, and you're like, Skylar, I just don't get her. I just don't like her. And in my head, I'm like, wait till you see the version of Skylar that buys the car wash, because this is when Skylar like steps up and she actually shows why she's here, and what she can do when she is thrust into being a part of it.
Hmm.
And yeah, she's totally rocking it right now.
She has some
That-
great, like another scene we got to talk about here is like the second scene on this episode that is like really great and with great comedic like undertones to it too is the meeting, that Walt, Skylar, and Saul have
Mhm.
broken up, and Huel's there as well, using the bathroom. He has a
Of
stomach
course.
thing. Yeah, he has a stomach thing.
Where was
Uh,
I? Professionalism.
Yeah, that was such a good line. Professionalism, great stuff. He's like, so we don't want a non-violent. We don't want to hurt any innocents. Um, and nothing illegal. And he's like, don't everybody speak up at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, some really good lines. Saul, yeah, that was just good to see all three of them kind of match dynamics. And I like Walt's like, wait, what did he say about me? He said, oh, you didn't
This
have.
one. It has to be
It has
this
to be
one.
this one. Yeah, love that. He's like, yeah, because he said you weren't man enough to, step footed and talk to me man to man.
Man. Yeah, you had to send your woman to take care of it.
He's like, it's this
I
one.
mean, Skylar knows Walt. Play to the ego. You play to the ego, it's gonna work, and that's totally what she did, and it totally did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. If I was gonna pick a secondary one, it was probably going to be that one too. Saul adds such an interesting dynamic to it all, and just a random just breath of fresh air whenever he's on screen, and that scene is the perfect example of it. So that's a good one. If you want to go with I mean, there are some good scenes in here. Another good one is when Bogdan actually shows up, and it's Bogdan and Bill Burr with Skylar in his ear. Like that's another great scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all the stuff with Marie is really interesting too.
Yeah,
Um,
Maria is actually rather on fire in this one. Like she's really
mhm.
good. I wanted to have we seen that realtor before? That wasn't the same realtor that sold Jesse's house or his grandmother's house or his aunt's house. It wasn't the same one.
I don't think so. She would have had
But
to change quite a bit.
yeah, it would have been very interesting if it was the same one.
Mhm.
But I was like, that's not the same lady. But like she looked very familiar. Like that. I was like, she had that look. Like I don't know who that was, but very interesting. But
I mean, it could have been. We'll have to look it up. All right. The Ken wins Bogdan douchebag of the episode award goes to.
go ahead.
Uh, I have kind of a combination of Hank and Marie. Um,
Mhm.
because they're both being douchey in different ways, but you also fully understand what's going on too. So, I mean, and of course you could just say Bogdan again because Bogdan is being a douche, especially in how he's treating Bill Burr. Where's Gary? Gary knows. Gary says I'm okay. He got transferred to Las Cruces. Yeah. Um. So that's who I'm going with. What about you?
Nice. So I guess the real estate name, her name is Stephanie Doswell, and this is the only episode she's in on Breaking Bad. But apparently, she's in an episode of Better Call Saul. So that's kind of interesting. But I'm just scrolling through the page because I wanted to see if she was in the previous season, but no, just the one episode for Breaking Bad, which is interesting. For what I have Charlotte Blattner as the biggest the Kid Wins douchebag because
Blackner as a fake name.
I actually it's actually I couldn't catch the name that she had, the persona that she had at the old married couple's house. The one that she
that one I missed.
Yeah, that one I missed because technically that's the biggest douchebag because you stole their like a nice like lovely picture of the couple.
The first one was Tori Costner.
Yeah, Tori Costner. Yeah, it sounded like an ex of Kevin Costner. Yeah, definitely.
I'm changing it. Tori Costner is my biggest douchebag.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, you had to go with one of the personas. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
But see, what Charlotte did wrong here was that she drew attention to what she stole. So you made a lasting impression pointing something out about the spoons, and you made a fun fact about, oh, well, they kind of wanted, Puerto Rico to be, a state. They're wishful thinking. And then you stole one of the spoons. Yeah, pretty obvious who it was. Right. So, yeah. But anyway, that's Charlotte Blattner.
I'm going Tori Costner, one, because the last name is Costner. And two, she's a divorcee, made up a really strange disease to give her kid, and also she works with clay a lot. What? Really? You're gonna go? She works with clay a lot, and so she needs the studio out in the middle of the yard for that. I mean, come on.
Her husband's a ghost.
Her husband, yeah. But Charlotte Blattner, like, husband's an astronaut, and she has to store her her brother's in the Peace Corps and has to store his furniture in the attic.
Yeah, stupid.
Like, who? All right, come on. Who's actually going to want to move a sofa to the attic? Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
No. If only had some young, strapping young bucks in the family, they could do it.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if he was a former astronaut, I'm sure he's got some connections.
There's definitely some connections for sure. A good call on those ones.
All right. The Pinkman Stickman Award. I'll go first because I'm going to go at a similar spot. I'm going with Marie's Imaginary Husbands. That they are definitely the stickmen here. It's either that or, well, I think there are a couple other options, but yeah, I'll go Marie's Imaginary Husbands and leave you with some thoughts.
Well, I think the low hanging fruit here is random meth head because he does get in doing decent work because he's getting his back door with all the fingernail marks.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're not doing good enough. But no, I'm going to Winston Churchill here. You're definitely a stick man when you have your favorite champagne named after you. So
that's a good call. That is a good call. The other option is obviously whoever's in the porno that Hank's watching.
Yeah, good call. My wife's like, is he watching I mean, yes, he's watching a film. He's watching a film. Hey, what happens next? He installs the cable? Anyway.
He's going to install her cable.
I was like, there's your stick man right there.
There you go. Cable is the stick man. The best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo. Tell us about Bill Burr.
Well, yeah, Bill Burr. Yeah, it's spoiled because you see the names pop up of all the guest stars, and I was like, wait, Bill Burr? Like what? I was like, oh, here we go, some cranky guy from Boston coming up who lives randomly in New Mexico. Yep, he has a Bluetooth. Yeah, he's definitely running in that Ken Wins douchebag era of characters. And then it's revealed that's Skylar. I'm like, that's awesome.
It was perfect. So perfect.
You don't get Bill Burr in the show if you don't. I'm not going to have him on more than one episode, I think. He's He's awesome. So, yeah, that was a really fun scene. And who would have thought cleaning your daughter's bottles would have got you to bring in Bill Burr into the show? He's definitely some of my. He has some really good like TV work. Like he was popped up in The Mandalorian a couple episodes, and he was awesome in that show. And seeing him pop up here, hopefully we get more time with him. So only time will tell.
Yeah. I mean, having Bill Burr pop up, and it's a great it's a great moment for him too, right? Because he gets to be the face of the con, but not the brains of the con, and he's just getting fed everything that he needs to say. And
Yeah,
it's so anti Bill Burr too,
it is
right? If that moment, it's perfect.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, the other one I was looking at is Jeremy Howard as Sketchy, who is it's the guy who in Jesse's house that is kind of losing it and can't stop talking.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's the guy
going through the links of the fence, man.
I've seen that guy too.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where you go back like to the 2000s, especially like mid to late 2000s. If you needed a nerdy looking, like maybe high schooler, maybe a little older, you went with this guy. Like he was in all sorts of
Was he in
stuff.
Galaxy Quest?
He was in Galaxy Quest. I just
Yeah,
saw.
I mean, he's also in Accepted with Justin Long. Okay, I knew it. Yeah, so that's who I thought it was. That's
he was in a lot of commercials too, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like he was in a lot of commercials. But yeah, it's that face. You're like, I know that guy. That guy. So
I'm like, I know that neck.
exactly. It's the neck and the gigantic Adam's apple. Yeah, that's what it is. And so you see him.
Make that a soundbite. No.
Anyway, but yeah, it's Bill Burr. You see him. It's like, oh hey, Bill Burr. But the true spirit of this is that guy. Hey, that guy. And that's what you get with Sketchy. Apparently.
Oh yeah, he was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Donatello. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
Good call. That's awesome.
All right,
Sketchy.
The Gomi minor character goes to, other than Bill Burr,
Tim Roberts, Nigel Gibbs. I think part of me thinks that he doesn't go to Hank unless if Marie doesn't break down to Tim, he doesn't go to Hank. Because I don't know.
He needed an excuse to go do it.
Yeah, I don't think Marie necessarily divulges anything there. Maybe she does. We don't see it, so I'm gonna assume no. We'll just say no. But he knows something's up, and maybe because he knows Hank too, so he gets Hank involved to try to get him pushed in the right direction. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good call. I love that character and what he does in this episode. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to go with someone else, he only pops up a couple small times, but Tyrus, the new Deadeyes, he's got a couple moments here that are really interesting, and he's starting to establish through the few times we've seen him as the new Deadeyes that's replaced Victor. Victor kind of felt like the like intense muscle almost. Like he was like this intimidating, like he was trying to intimidate you. Tyrus just gives off this cool vibe of you're not gonna mess with me. You know you're not gonna mess with me. Why would you try to mess with me? I'm still gonna be Deadeyes. And he's got this vibe that is really kind of fun. That plays well with, all right, you had your fun, and now you get me. So
yeah,
get to work. Yeah. So and I think he's outside Jesse's house.
he is outside Jesse.
Kind of watching and monitoring the situation.
Yeah, Mike's following Walter, and you got Tyrus following Jesse.
But you didn't actually see Mike at all this episode.
Correct. But you've already established that Mike's following
That's
Walter.
true. That's
already established in the previous episode.
Yeah. But yeah. Tyrus, watching Tyrus in this one, he has just those couple moments in the car, but I don't know. He kind of feels like a cool character so far. All right. The cow house. Dumbest thing said. There wasn't a ton of dumb stuff said in this episode.
This was hard because I said I was kind of losing focus. I'm like, well, we don't have much stuff going on, so I'm like just gonna enjoying the episode for what it is. I do have 3 here. Okay.
Okay.
We can admit that it didn't work out, and we can just move on with the plan. Ring, and Skylar just gives him Walter that looks like, oh yeah. You just put your foot in your mouth. It was not a dumb plan. We're not gonna move on. We just bought a car wash like that. That's great. That's a doubting Skylar. He did it twice and then realized it's like, well, that was a great plan. It came along perfectly. We make a good team. Everything at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not quite something you would think as a dumb thing said, but yeah, it was dumb.
That's a good call. It's a good call. Most of what I had down was things that Saul said.
Mm-hmm. I had what Hank said for the rest, so that's good.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I mean, everything he says in that 2 words, nail salon. It's a great way to launder money. It's like, no, we're getting the car wash. You tried that, and you went and confronted Bogdan and were wrestled into submission by his eyebrows. And then it's like, no, we're gonna let a professional take over, and then he walks in. Like,
we can go the international, like we can get ICE involved. He's like, he's Romanian.
Yeah, it was terrorism. Seen some shady things happening down at the car wash. Like, Bogdan's Romanian.
He's Romanian. Oh well, yeah, well.
It's like, oh, it's a great car wash. Shame something would have happened to it. It's like, no, we're not.
We're not those kind of people. And then Walter, oh yeah, we're not that kind of people. Yeah, we're not.
Yeah. Not doing that. Yeah, he's got so many great moments in there that are just hilarious because it's Saul, and Saul just is awesome like that. The other one was when Skylar and Walt are having the champagne, and Skylar's like, "How we got to be so careful." And it's like, look at Watergate. It was taken down just by the one piece of tape. It's like, what? I'm Nixon now?
Yeah. I'm Nixon now? Yeah.
Which, ironically, later on, Bryan Cranston plays LBJ. So, I mean, there is a slight connection to that time in history. So
that is true. I have Cheetos, a ch sound, nowhere close to Fritos.
That's great. Ch.
Yeah, and
the draft's not for another 2 months, so this is completely useless.
This is going to be completely useless. The draft next month. No, this month. It's a good one.
That is a good one. That is good. All right. Problems. Outdated. How about buying a magazine of a fantasy football outlook?
Yeah, that's the good outdated one. That's a good, definitely outdated.
The other outdated one I had was needing to find a phone number and looking on a matchbook. Because that's where Skylar finds Saul's number.
Yeah, that's true. You could almost say cash is kind of outdated. Yeah, the magazine's great. That's good for outdated. So I had 2 for flaws. So Marie didn't really think her plan out too well, because why would you go to 2 of the same realtors like open houses?
Yeah, you got to pay a little more attention to who the realtor is,
and you have to space them out. Skylar rings Walt's door like nonstop, but never takes her finger off the buzzer. It goes ding, 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 and she's like trying to push it, like you can see her like her motion, but her finger never leaves the thing because it's bent against the thing, against the buzzer.
I don't know. I've seen doorbells where like you can like without really looking like you're moving the button. You can
But
still
this is the
ring it multiple
model
times.
home version. He bought it with all the furniture in it.
It's true.
So I doubt they're gonna have some customized doorbell in there. I don't know, nitpicky. Again, grasping at straws.
Yeah. All right. Midlife crisis moment.
Oh, I got stomach issues. The stomach issues.
Huel's stomach issues.
That was probably the best use of flushing the toilet I've seen in a long time. that was pretty good. That was good.
That's good.
And they're all like, look at it. It's great.
I didn't know what Walt bought there was a 2-story. I thought it was.
I didn't know that either.
That was all 1 story. One you kind of already referenced. There is a big difference between Cheetos and Fritos. Like, you can't substitute one for the other. That's just not a thing. The other thing I wrote down is when you're at a point that you will watch any sport that's on TV. Like, how many times have you just turned to ESPN and whatever's on, even if it's bowling, you're gonna watch it? And bowling can get pretty exciting.
But
who do you think you are?
I am. I was thinking that too. Yeah, it's great. I would like to get the Jim Gaffigan sketch. You know what would be hysterical? Let's go bowling. And it's like they're probably bowling with Fred Flintstone's bowling ball right now. Like, those balls aren't new.
No,
Great
not really.
bowling gaff. That, funnily enough, that is one of my LVP options, is that bowling commentators, because that would put me to sleep. Yeah, he has a brother-in-law, and or whatever they were saying. I was like, it was completely different than any like spouting in like facts that like no one cares about. It was like, oh yeah, he has his family member, and yeah, he just all monotone, like nonsensical stuff. It was like, this is so not entertaining at all. Like, who would watch this right now? But somebody was. Late night TV.
All right, my LVP is Huel and his stomach issues.
That's a good one. He interrupts me. He said, I'm in a meeting right now. I'm like, no. Fine, I'll ask. It's like, Huel? Who's that? He's with me.
Huel? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a Huel?
Huel Tide? Carols? No.
All right, my MVP is Tim, the detective, because he gets Marie off and then goes and visits Hank and gives him some sort of purpose, some sort of direction again. And in doing so, kind of like potentially sparks all sorts of stuff that could potentially go wrong now that Hank has Gail's lab notebook in his hands. Who knows where that's going to lead?
True.
Well, I do, but you don't.
Yeah, I don't. Who doesn't know? I am. Okay. My LVP, Bogdan, is also there too, because he was trying to bribe Bill Burr. It's like, well, we're good. We'll make it super clean. We'll be super safe, trying to bypass laws and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But MVP for me, I have Skylar. Like, what is this? 1, 2. Yeah, this is two times in 3 episodes already. Yeah, she's just awesome. Her plan, her it's all happening. Yeah, essentially.
My LVP is the fact that Adam just had to count to 2 out loud to find out that she's been MVP 2 times.
There was 3 episodes. Okay, I was scrolling to see what other episodes I had.
That's why I'm here, folks.
All right. Well, what's going to happen next is I may not be here next week. No. All right. Well,
I love those redheads.
Okay. Well, you got me back. Okay. What's the counts? What's the
all
count?
right?
Yeah.
The Walter White body count remains at 1 Emilio, 1 Crazy 8, 1 car, 1 custodian's career, 1 Tuco hideout, 1 lock, 1 uneaten burrito, 1 paper towel holder, rot, 1 back door to Jesse's house, 1 love of Jesse's life, a few burned $100 bills, 1 pepperoni pizza, 1 career in education, 1 meth-making RV, 1 beginning of a baleful friendship, 1 fly, 2 kid-killing drug dealers, and 1 Gail Bedecker. I was talking to Todd. Shout out to Todd. He'll probably be on again. I think he wants to be on 2 times this season.
He does.
Figuring that
He
out.
texted me that too. Yeah.
But he said, all right, you've got this great body count, but you actually should give okay, but this is actually what his body count is right now. I think he is responsible currently for 5 deaths, 6. I think it could go 6 if you count Gale, because he put out the hit on Gale.
Mm-hmm.
So if you count Gale, he's responsible for 6 deaths. Emilio, Crazy 8, Jane, the kid killing drug dealers, and Gale.
Mm.
So his actual body count is at 6. The Jesse ass kick count remains at 8, which means he has now gotten his ass kicked once out of every 4.5 episodes. However, there was an interesting conversation.
You get used to it.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
And we've gotten used to him getting his ass kicked, and now we don't know what to do because he's not.
We've also got used to him not getting his ass kicked now at this point.
I know. He need to crash his go-kart and then go like, yep, add it to the tally. We got another one here.
I kind of want to say add to the tally of Walter White because he flipped the bird. I'm looking forward to seeing him destroy that camera. That's what I want to see. I'm surprised that
the look he gave that camera was just menacing.
Yeah, that almost was the thumbnail, but try to keep it PG. Anyway,
it was a pretty great still before the finger popped up.
Yeah.
Before he kept up with foreign relations, but yeah.
Anyways, never seen so many knuckles in a finger before. All right.
What's coming next? Where are we going?
The camera's going to be destroyed, I hope. I would love to see a moment of just Hank being Hank again, and he's like standing in the bathroom, and Marie doesn't realize, like, she wakes up and just like, oh, I gotta go to the restroom or something like that, and she walks in the bathroom. It's like, oh, he's like, what? You never seen a guy shaven before? Like, that would be a funny Hank-ism right there. But we'll see if that actually happens. If he actually starts walking, I was kind of hoping he would go to his wife's rescue, but no, he called a favor instead of actually doing it himself. So I want to see that. We need to see Gus. We haven't seen Gus for any time. We kind of want to see what's up with Gus.
We're going to see him again.
We're never going to see him again until we do, and then we won't. Looking forward to that. Obviously, first day at the car wash, probably new management. Going to be interesting. Jesse needs to get his act together too, man. Like, I'm tired of drug dealing. Like, he is interesting because it's Aaron Paul doing awesome like character work, but it's like, don't go back down this road, man. Like they need to have a sit down chat about like what they have the game plan together. It seems like they're working together, but they're on 2 different paths, 2 different things. They're not on the same page, even though.
What's it going to take to snap Jesse out of it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you meant to toss me that softball, but does something happen to Andrea? That could, or no, Brock. Does something happen to them? Because that would definitely get him out of it. He would be more focused. He would get off that stuff, I would think, because he obviously showed that he still cared when she showed up at his doorstep. And, she's not trying to, like, at least it's perceived like she's not trying to do that kind of bad behavior because she wants to fight for her son. Oh, that's her son, right?
Brock,
no, that's his brother.
Brock
Yeah. Tomas is the brother. Okay, they're just so close in age. I was like, wait a second, did I just get this wrong?
Right.
Yeah, Tomas is the brother. So she doesn't want to do anything negative with her son. So that would be an interesting avenue that the show could go down and be very interesting.
Yeah, some good points you got there. You got some good thoughts. I like where your head's at.
I'll try to see at least where I would like it to go, but sometimes that's not necessarily where it always goes. But what we can guarantee where the show will go is it will lead us to breaking down Breaking Bad next week, where we break down episode 4. So, breakdown of Breaking Bad.
All right, here we go. Sit and spin.